Get the ceiling finished today?
Yep.
It's looking really nice.
It is, isn't it?
So it's not very often you see me drive. I'm Cheska, this is Ben, and this is our little hitchhiker River. We've spent the last year travelling Europe in our self-built sprinter van Sophia, but new horizons are calling. In 2021, we'll be driving all the way to Cape Town, South Africa. Before we go, we're making some upgrades to Sophia to get her ready for those African roads. Subscribe and join us for the ride. Well, good morning everyone. It's a bit of a different morning than last week. It's sunny for starters and there's no snow on the ground, and if all goes to plan, this is the week we should get our ceiling in. Just so exciting. But before we can get started on the ceiling, we have a tiny little bit of prep work to do.
The plan hopefully this week is to start putting our ceilings up. But before we do that, I need to make sure that all the cables and everything that we're having in the ceilings, so for the lights and the solar panels and things, run over to this section here. The reason they're coming over here is because up here in the top of the cupboard is where our 12 volt system is going to be, and then our batteries are going to be down here. We've got this conduit. In fact, I've not checked this yet, so let me just check. Perfect. So we've got this conduit where that fits in nicely. So we're going to run the solar panels, or the solar panel cables, along here, and then the cables, then we'll just have them hanging here for the moment. We've got a couple of other cables that we need to run away this way. So we're having our composting toilet here, but that has a 12 volt fan, so we need to run another cable across and down to here. We've got a reversing camera which needs to run along here and run across here. And we've got a light switch for the lights for this end of the van, which is here, so that's going to run across there. So before obviously we can start putting all the panels up, we need to make sure that all the wires that are going to be sort of tucked away behind the ceiling are run. And we'll probably run maybe 2 spare cables as well, which aren't connected to the 12 volt. They're not connected to anything here, they're just wrapped up. So if we need anything extra, we can put them in. Still doing that. I might put another bit there, because what's going to happen now is then the cables are going to go there like that.
So while Ben is sorting the electric cables and stuff out on the roof, I've just been finishing vapor sealing where our water and electric hookup have come in. I just thought, if any of you are wondering why our batteries are being moved onto this side, it's because this side is now going to hold our composting toilet, and we're upgrading our fridge from 50 litres to 80 litres. So having quite a lot of weight on this side now. So we're just moving it over just to balance the weight out.
That is awesome.
Why is it that prep work just takes so much longer than you think it's going to?
So you see, River is just staring at the football. River! Hello! You gonna bring it over? Toilet. And this is actually on show, this bit. So
yeah.
What we could do, maybe, we could do, is just drill a hole through here and here. In fact, we'll do that now whilst it's off. And then we'll just drop it through, and then we'll drill a little hole at the bottom, and it'll stick out there then. We've successfully got all our cabling and trunking in, and it was actually fairly easy. So we've got 4 lots of trunking run. The first one is down here, and it holds the cables for our solar panels, and they run along to here and there to there, and they're in their own trunking. The second trunking has the reversing camera and the reversing camera video feed, which runs from the far left along this wall here, then across into the 12 volts. Number 3, we have, what have we got here? We've got the lights, the light cable and the lights power cable to the dimmer switch, and the toilet power cable as well, all running down to this side. And in what one am I on? Number 4?
Yeah.
Yep. And then number 4, we've got the power for the Wi-Fi. The reason I keep looking over here is because I wrote it down on the wall, so I didn't forget what I had to put. And yeah, number 4, we've got the power for the Wi-Fi, and we've also got 2 spare 16 amp cables going across, just in case we decide to add anything on this side later, or if there's a problem with any of the other cables, we've got 2 backups. Yeah, well, that is it. So I think all we need to do now, I just need to take this panel off, because this is going to be a full length cupboard. Take this panel off, I'm going to drill a hole in, put all the cables through, and then that's going to be hidden behind a false wall, and then we have the 12 volt on the side of the cables coming in, the MPPT. The light's done, it's held in place with that for the moment. Let's put this board back up so you can make sure it doesn't catch on any of the cables. So our next step is the ceiling, isn't it? Oh no, the ceiling.
Okay, so is that all the prep work done for the ceiling?
Prep work's done for the ceiling.
Cabling run.
We know the lights are working.
So this ceiling has been a little bit more of a head scratcher than the cladding, because there's all different ways you can put it up. You can glue it, but obviously we don't want to screw it into the actual kind of main body of the cladding, because we can't just like fill it and paint over it, because it's like this veneer thing. So we're trying to figure out the best way to get it up. We don't want to glue it up straight away, just in case it doesn't line up properly and then we can't get it down again. So
let's just get one board up. Let's see how it goes.
Tumbling down. I wanna know.
it's looking really nice.
It is, isn't it?
And it slots together so much easier than pine cladding. So it's been a long day of going back and forth trying to figure out the best way to secure this cladding to the ceiling. As I said before, we don't really want to put screws in because we can't really wood fill and then cover over the screws. So we don't want to have loads of exposed screw heads all over the ceiling. We then thought, because you can put it up with glue, but because it's on the ceiling, it really needs to be held up there while the glue sets, and it's just not feasible for us to do that. But I think we have nailed it by deciding to use a little nail tacks. Because there's a natural graining on the veneer already, the heads of them kind of just like blend in quite nicely. Look at it, you can't see where we've nailed it, which is really nice. Ben's just been cutting around the fan.
Around the fan, or part of the fan, and
the lights.
Lights.
I wanna know if you still surf with me. You know they say.
So the first part of the fan, I just did a bit of a template, and it worked perfectly. And I'm gonna play it safe and just do a template again, because I don't want to cut a full sheet. This is just offcut, so I don't want to cut a full sheet and cock it up. So. Yeah. Fine. Oh.
Get the ceiling finished today?
Yep, let's get the ceiling finished.
Oh, one thing I can show you. Watch my clock. So last week we asked you for some recommendations of what to do with our spare wheel, because now we've got the new tyres fitted, it won't fit under our spare wheel carrier without us having to drop it. So many of you recommended a guy called Williams based in Scarborough, I think. So many of you on Instagram, in the comments and email. So we've ordered one and it's arrived. So the plan on this is it's just bare steel, I believe, is that right? So yeah, it's untreated steel. The plan is to Raptor paint it with some black Raptor paint and just keep it nice and tough. And yeah, so at some point over the next few weeks we'll be fitting this onto our back doors as well.
No.
So yeah, thank you so much for your recommendations. It really helped us make a decision. And one other thing that I'd like to ask people is, does anybody have any experience of using stick-on tiles? Kind of similar to the company Tic Tac tiles, but I know you can get all different brands on Amazon and stuff. It's what I want to use on the bulkhead, but I just wondered if anybody had experience using it and any advice and whether it's a good idea or not, basically. So I managed to get the front half of the ceiling done yesterday, which included cutting around the fan and the holes for the front lights. We've just come to do the back, and obviously it's going to be butting up against here. Now, in the last build we had a bit of trim on there, which we think we're going to need again just to kind of make it look a lot tidier. We don't have any, so I'm going to pop to Wix, pick some up, and then I reckon we can get the ceiling up today. There's always something that you don't realise that you need. So it's not very often you see me drive. I can drive the van as well, but Ben is just not very good at sitting still for extended periods of time. So he just tends to default to driving. But I have said though, on this next trip, there is no way that we're driving to Cape Town and I'm not driving the van in Africa down some like dusty desert roads and stuff. So I definitely will be driving the van more the next time we go away. One of the first things we did when we got back to the UK was just to pick up a little runaround car, because they're just, obviously once you really get stuck into a van build and you've got everything in the van, you've got stuff drying in there and setting, you don't want to be driving it around. It's always just so handy to have a little run around. This is a little Golf. I actually love my VWs. Had a Golf, Mark IV Golf before, we sold everything for the van, and yeah, God, back in the day I've had 3 T4s, 1 T25, back in the day before YouTube.
That way, like that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Still in? Yeah, okay, now slide it across.
Two things I'm really excited for about the ceiling. One is that we've got spotlights this time, which should make the place much brighter, and they're on a dimmer switch as well, so bit of an upgrade on the lights to the big bulkhead ones we had last time, and also the fact that it's bright and light and not that dark walnut stain, which was kind of getting a bit heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very pleased with this. The final piece.
The final piece. I mean, it's such a pain in the arse to put in. And the roof is in.
Carl, you've got a ceiling.
I know.
Well done, babe.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were putting your hand up like that.
I was actually going for this one.
Oh, there you go.
You can't see the nails here. Well, you can if you know where to look.
Oh, if you know how to look, yeah, if you know how to look, but if you're just looking at it, you can't see them at all.
You would never notice them.
No, and the sig flex is dried really well, the trim's looking really good. All good.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us this week, guys. Progress is being made. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe and join us on our new adventures. See you next week.
Did you get a bin bag, by the way?
No. Whoops.
I don't know if it was recording, but hey ho, Chess can sort that one out. Isn't that right, babe? That's not too bad though, is it? So this window has been vapor sealed. This one you can see there, nicely vapor sealed. Oh no! Screw it. There you go. You want a screw?
Just to see